All right, so The Electric State is the latest Netflix blockbuster content made by the genius Russo brothers. It stars Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt, Stanley Tucci, Giancarlo Esposito, and like a whole bunch of cameos because I mean they had a shit ton of money, so they can just get anyone that they want. Also, Anthony Mackie as Chris Pratt's robot friend. Okay, so plot-wise, right? The movie starts off in the early 90s in like a on like an alternate Earth, alternate reality kind of a situation, where you have Millie Bobby Brown's character named Michelle, and she has like a super smart brother who's giving some exam and he's going to go to MIT or whatever, and we see that, and then it cuts to we get like a montage where we find out like the Disney Corporation has made robots, and then those robots gain sentience and they no longer want a life of servitude, so they fight. And then in the beginning, the humans are losing.
They don't eat, they don't sleep, they don't blink. I blink.
And then this tech company called Center makes these drones and this VR thing called a Neurocaster. And that sort of helps humanity finally win against the robots. And then we take all the robots and put them in like this, like a demilitarized zone or a concentration camp or whatever.
We banish them to the electric state.
And so all the robots have to sort of live there, and the robots are like outlawed, everywhere else. And in the middle of that, we find out that Millie Bobby Brown, like Michelle's parents and brother, died in a car accident. So now it's like 4 years later, it's like 1994, and Michelle is now living with her foster father. And you see everyone wearing these Neurocasters, which are now like a commercial product. Like earlier they were only for military use, but then Center was like, oh, we'll make it for everyone. So now everyone sort of uses this, and like the drones go off to work and everyone just sits at home and watches like VR stuff all day. And then one day like a robot shows up at her home, this thing called a Cosmo robot.
They're not us. How would they possibly understand our best interests?
The robot is like, I am your brother, or your brother's consciousness in me, so we need to go like rescue your brother who is being held by Center. And so the adventure begins, like a road trip where like Michelle and the robot have to go and rescue the brother. And along the way they meet Chris Pratt, who's like a Han Solo type character, who also has like a Chewbacca sidekick, which is like this robot voiced by Anthony Mackie.
Took your freaking time, didn't you?
Cool your jets.
And then along the way they meet the other robots, and eventually they have to liberate the robots and destroy Center, which is like the bad tech company. It's not a great plot, but it's a functional enough plot.
It's nuts. No offense.
Get it all the time.
So the problem with The Electric State is that for $330 million, you would want the film to be a little more memorable and have a little more cultural significance than an Instagram reel that you probably just scrolled past while you were watching me ramble on about The Electric State. Because there is just nothing memorable about this movie. Like it's perfectly fine. It has some action scenes, it has some nice, funny robots. The Russo brothers are they have like a formula which they perfected with the Avengers. So like the quippy, funny stuff. So everyone has quippy, funny dialogues.
I am not dying to Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch!
I actually like this song.
And visually it's bland. Like the acting is fine, but then everyone is just playing characters they've already played before. Chris Pratt is doing Star-Lord, because I guess the Russo brothers just said, look, you know what, I know you like to do like serious stuff every now and again, but don't do that, just do Star-Lord, we're happy with that. Giancarlo Esposito, I'm guessing, must be bored by now to just do bad guys, because he, like ever since Breaking Bad, he's just been doing like this one specific type of a bad guy. And like you just got like Captain America 4, where he was doing a very similar bad guy. But hey, actors are, they also work for paychecks, so I'm guessing he got a good paycheck. Stanley Tucci does very standard, tech billionaire or evil tech billionaire guy.
Honestly, never owned robots, did you?
I never trusted them.
So there's nothing here like acting wise that is like, oh wow, that was a great scene or that was like great acting or whatever. Visually, the film is genuinely bland, which is kind of shocking, right? Because hold on a second, right? So I have the book. And the crazy thing is like if you open up the book to literally any page, right? It has phenomenal visuals. Like this is a book written and I guess illustrated by Simon Stalenhag, right? And the book has just like amazing visuals. Like you can literally just open up to any page and you will get, like truly beautiful looking stuff. And even if they would have just replicated like shots straight up from the book, it would have been amazing, except they don't. So it is just the most blandest looking generic blockbuster content that you have ever seen. And also like, because I said like plot wise there is zero similarity, I was kind of exaggerating. There's probably like 2% similarity because the girl in the book is also called Michelle and the robot is called Cosmo, but nothing else is there. And oh yeah, and the Neurocaster is there. But beyond that, like the book has nothing like robots coming to life or us fighting against robots or whatever. Like none of that happens in the book. The book is mostly just a road trip that she's taking to sort of go and rescue her brother or something. But it's very different. And it's also like the book sort of deals with this sort of weird rise of artificial intelligence and like a hive mind. Like the Neurocaster in the book is much more sort of crazier and dangerous in the sense that it's connecting minds, like when you put on the Neurocaster, and it's actually sort of like making people, like turning people sort of comatose or into like vegetables where their brain is just functioning, but they like stop eating and like weird stuff starts happening to their bodies. And you get like these scenes in the book where you just have like these whole bunch of people who are like coming together wearing these Neurocasters, and there's like a giant robot in the middle and they're sort of like communing with the robot like it's some kind of a hive mind. So you have like these really strange scenes that are going on. None of that is there in the movie. Like in the movie you have this one scene where there's this guy who's wearing a Neurocaster and he's just lying by the side of the road. But there's no reason for him to lie by the side of the road because there's nothing in the movie that suggests that the Neurocaster is doing some kind of brain damage or anything like that. So it's just like, oh, maybe this guy is just drunk and wearing a Neurocaster. So it doesn't make any sense. So, as I said, like it's perfectly adequate blockbuster content that you can watch on Netflix. But for $330 million, you should probably do something better. I mean, this movie has the budget of which is equivalent to both the Dune movies, which is kind of crazy. So like recommendation, why not? I mean, it's on Netflix. So like if you're doing like laundry or if you're cooking or I don't know, you just want something running in the background while you do some other work. Yeah, I mean, if you've already watched Captain America 4, which is also like mostly white noise, you can watch The Electric State and see like a $330 million white noise.